Good morning, folks. Today it's lesson 136. Sickness is a defense against the truth. Interesting lesson. And let's jump in a minute. So for now, taking a holy moment, becoming present in your seat, feeling your sit bones against the surface, your lower back against the back of your chair, your foot soles on the floor. Imagine roots growing out of your foot chakras down into the earth, grounding you and creating a feeling of steadiness and of belonging. We begin this day in gratitude. We open our hearts and we surrender to love. We ask love to lead the way through the minutes and the hours of this new day. We welcome joy, fun, and abundant prosperity. We recognize that all encounters are wholesome and that all experiences can be met with a peaceful heart that is anchored in the truth, that we are one, that we are love, and that we are free. And so we release these words and we let it be. So lesson 136. Sickness is a defense against the truth. No one can heal unless they understand what purpose sickness seems to serve. For then they understand as well its purpose has no meaning. Being causeless and without a meaningful intent of any kind, it cannot be at all. When this is seen, healing is automatic. Healing dispels this meaningless illusion by the same approach that carries all of them to truth and merely leaves them there to disappear. Sickness is not an accident. Like all defenses, it is an insane device for self-deception. And like all the rest, its purpose is to hide reality, attack it, change it, render it inept, distort it, twist it, or reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. The aim of all defenses is to keep the truth from being whole. The parts are seen as each one were whole within itself. Defenses are not unintentional, nor are they made without awareness. They are secret magic wands you wave when truth appears to threaten you, to threaten what you would believe. They seem to be unconscious only because of the rapidity with which you choose to use them. In that second, even less, in which the choice is made, you recognize exactly what you would attempt to do and then proceed to think that it is done. Who, except yourself, evaluates a threat, decides escape is necessary, and sets up a series of defenses to reduce the threat that has been judged as real? All this cannot be done unconsciously. Yet afterwards, your plan requires that you must forget you made it, and so it seems to be external to your own intent, a happening beyond your state of mind, an outcome with a real effect on you, instead of one affected by you. It is this quick forgetting of the part you play in making your reality that makes defenses seem to be beyond your own control. But what you have forgotten can be remembered, giving willingness to reconsider the decision, which is doubly shielded by oblivion. Your not remembering is the only sign that this decision still remains in force, as far as your desires are concerned. Do not mistake this for fact. Defenses must make facts unrecognizable. They aim at this, at doing this, and it is this they do. I'm going to pause here because this is a lot to take in. But basically what it's saying is we often make choices in split seconds that are based in fear. I remember a friend of mine saying to me that she was feeling sort of overwhelmed and that she had a lot going on. So, and you know, we've all had these feelings. I've certainly had them. And that there was a moment of thinking, I really want to rest. I really need to rest. And choosing a sort of a withdrawal. And she said she imagined white sheets, lying between beautiful white sheets. Now, in her mind, she was choosing a hotel, but she actually woke up the next day in hospital, lying between white sheets. So it's almost like be careful what you wish for, but also recognizing that everything is a prayer, that every thought we have is creating our reality. And so I know for sure I have often had thoughts of withdrawing when the going feels tough, or even, you know, done all that crazy stuff of imagining my funeral and who'd be there and what it would be like, or wondering what it would be like to just not get up for a few days, you know. So we can so easily choose for something. But what I really want to stress as you read this lesson, this isn't an opportunity to beat yourself up. This isn't an opportunity for judging yourself. This is, again, an opportunity to recognize that you can trust in life, that you don't need these defenses. And that when we want to heal from something, the most powerful way of healing is to recognize yourself as whole, to recognize the spirit, to recognize the perfection that is there, and that you don't need to avoid or evade life in any way, that you can show up fully. Like if we truly trust that the universe has got our back and that God loves us, then we can show up fully. But it's this place of lack of trust that has us often retreat or withdraw. Or I think as well, fearful of processing our stuff, fearful of looking at our stuff, because we're afraid of the too muchness of it. We don't trust that God has got our back and is going to carry us through something. So instead we tend to bury it. But there is, again, a split second where you choose to put something to the back of your mind rather than bring it out for the forefront. And then we often feel sick because we have something buried down. So this lesson truly is not about judging, but it's about noticing our habits and being willing to change our habits to ones that would serve us way better. So the language, I do believe, is very challenging. I find the language challenging in this lesson, but there is a very beautiful, sweet message in here. And that's what we want to take away. So if you're finding this challenging, you're not alone. Okay, just to say that. So let's continue. Every defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to all their true relationships, and thus constructs illusions of a whole that is not there. That's WHOLE. It is this process that imposes threat, and not whatever outcome may result. When parts are wrested from the whole, that's WRESTED, and seen as separate and wholes, so complete within themselves, they become symbols standing for attack upon the whole, successful in effect, and never to be seen as whole again. So sort of separating out parts of yourself. And yet you have forgotten that they stand for your own decision of what should be real to take the place of what is real. Now here's a hard-hitting one. Sickness is a decision. It is not a thing that happens you, quite unsought, which makes you weak and brings you suffering. It is a choice you make, a plan you lay, when, for an instant, truth arises in your own deluded mind, and all the world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now are you sick, that truth may go away and threaten your establishments no more. How do you think that sickness can succeed in shielding you from truth? Because it proves the body is not separate from you, and so you must be separate from the truth. So again, just to sort of paraphrase this, you know, when you're sick and feel really unwell, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure anybody watching this has had various degrees of unwellness, but I know last Christmas I had got some sort of a virus. Didn't show up as COVID, but it was a similar type chesty, awful virus. And it had me so involved with my body, like so consumed by the body and so drawn into the body that I couldn't imagine that I wasn't the body. Like it was all I was in the body. There was no escaping it. And, you know, so the body became the realest thing there was. And what was really interesting was that before I got sick, I had this feeling of a lot on my plate. And I was thinking about all the kids coming home, and I was thinking about how much had to be done. Like, oh my God, I've got so much to do and I'm so tired. I would just love to be able to have a few lie-ins and to relax and rest. You know, they were the thoughts. And somewhere in there, and like it's for a split second, there was a choosing to withdraw. And then I got really sick. And everybody had to serve me and look after me and bring stuff up and down to the room. I couldn't even cook Christmas dinner. I actually ended up borrowing medication from a neighbor so I could get out of bed on Christmas Day. And it's just really interesting to me. I don't beat myself up. I didn't sit down and say, I want to have a virus and I want to stay in bed. It's not consciousness like that, but there are split seconds where you feel weak or vulnerable. And they're the places where you're not recognizing that you're strong and invincible. And it's okay. You know, it really is okay. So please realize that in this lesson, there is no judgment whatsoever. But you'll start to get the gist of it, and you will catch yourself in those split seconds of sort of opting out a little bit from life because you feel threatened and you're not leaning into the strength that you are. So I'm just going to come back on this one. How do you think sickness can succeed in shielding you from the truth? Because it proves the body is not separate from you, and so you must be separate from the truth. You suffer pain because the body does, and in this pain are you made one with it. Thus is your identity with the body preserved, and the strange haunting thought that you might be something beyond this little pile of dust is silenced and stilled. So your power, which is one with God, is silenced and stilled. For see, this dust can make you suffer, the body, twist your limbs and stop your heart, commanding that you die and cease to be. Thus is the body stronger than the truth, which asks you live, but cannot overcome your choice to die. And so the body is made more powerful than everlasting life. Heaven more frail than hell. And God's design for the salvation of God's child opposed by a decision stronger than God's will. God's child is dust, the creator incomplete, and chaos sits in triumph of God's throne. So it's like you're proving that the body is, or trying to prove that the body is more important than God, that it is that God's design, yeah, this is really good, God's design for the salvation isn't it? You know, it's just incomplete. God got it wrong. God messed up. And you can really prove that by being really weak and vulnerable and really believing that you are the body. Such is your planning for your own defense, and you believe that heaven quails before such mad attacks as these. With God made blind by your illusions, truth turned into lies, and all the universe made slave to laws, which your defenses would oppose on it. Yet who believes illusions but the one who made them up? Who else can see them and react to them as if they were the truth? God knows that no plans can change God's will. The universe remains unheeding of the laws by which you thought to govern it. And heaven has not bowed to hell, nor life to death. You can only choose to think you die, or suffer sickness, or distort the truth in any way. What is created is apart from all of this. Defenses are plans to defeat what cannot be attacked. What is unalterable cannot change, and what is wholly sinless cannot sin. So despite what's happening with the body, your innocence, the love that you are, your sinlessness, your invulnerability, it's all there. It's all secure. It hasn't been altered in any way. So we're really right in the illusion when we're in sickness. We're so stuck in the illusion. And it seems so feckin' real. And we all know that. But it is a huge attachment to the body. Again, please don't fall into judgment. Please don't beat yourself up. And please don't dismiss this lesson. Such is the simple truth. It does not make appeal to might nor triumph. It does not command obedience, nor seek to prove how pitiful and futile your attempts to plan defenses that would alter it. Truth merely wants to give you happiness, for such is its purpose. Perhaps it sighs a little when you throw away its gifts, and yet it knows with perfect certainty that what God wills for you must be received. It is this fact that demonstrates that time is an illusion, for time lets you think what God has given you is not the truth right now, as it must be. The thoughts of God are quite apart from time, for time is another meaningless defense you made against the truth. Yet what God wills is here, and you remain as God created you. So always remembering that you are changeless, and in truth you are formless. You appear in this form, but who you really are is formless. This is our aim today. Truth has a power far beyond defense, for no illusions can remain where truth has been allowed to enter. And it comes to any mind that would lay down its arms and cease to play with folly. It is found at any time today, if you will choose to practice giving welcome to the truth. This is our aim today. And we will give a quarter of an hour twice to ask the truth to come to us and set us free. And truth will come, for it has never been apart from us. It merely waits for just this invitation which we give today. We introduce it with a healing prayer to help us rise above defensiveness and let truth be as it has always been. Sickness is a defense against the truth. I will accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed today. So the truth of what you are is whole, perfect, complete, pure, one with love. But can we accept that? And if you're gone into a place of feeling even defensive about this lesson and say, I never chose to be sick, you're already sort of not recognizing your invincibility. And sure, none of us sit down and plan out our sicknesses and say, yeah, I'm going to get cancer. That's it. I'm going to withdraw from the world. I'm going to get cancer. I'm going to die. Da-di-da-di-da. Or I'm going to get a cold or a flu, or that's going to allow me have a week in bed, etc. It's not like that. There's a split second and it's blameless. Okay, remember this is blameless. But just start to notice your thoughts and where they go in terms of feeling that there's something that you need to defend or avoid. Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners sickness can conceal, kept defended from the light of truth. There will be no dim figures from your dreams, nor their obscure and meaningless pursuits with double purposes insanely sought remaining in your mind. The mind will be healed of all the sickly wishes that it tried to authorize the body to obey. So we're going to take a pause here. There's a little bit left. We'll come back to it. But we're going to take a pause and we're going to be with this. I will accept the truth of what I am. I will accept the truth of what I am. And let my mind be wholly healed today. So maybe we'll haven with this. Take your hands onto the shoulders and stroke downwards. I will accept what I truly am. I will accept what I truly am. Let's change that to I accept what I truly am. 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 And let my mind be wholly healed today. I accept what I truly am, and I let my mind be wholly healed today. I accept what I truly am, and let my mind be wholly healed today. I accept what I truly am, and let my mind be wholly healed today. So I invite you to continue havening as I read the remainder of this lesson. Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise. I read this a moment ago, but I'm going to read it again. Arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners that sickness can conceal, and keep defended from the light of truth. There will be no dim figures from your dreams, nor their obscure and meaningless pursuits with double purposes insanely sought remaining in your mind. The mind will be healed of all the sickly wishes that it tried to authorize the body to obey. The body is made useful now because the source of sickness has been opened to relief. And you will recognize you practiced well by this. The body should not feel at all if you have been successful, and there will be no sense of feeling ill or feeling well, or pain or pleasure. No response at all is in the mind to what the body does. Its usefulness remains, and nothing more. Perhaps you do not realize this, that this removes the limits that you placed upon the body and the purposes you gave to it. All these are laid aside. The strength the body has will always be enough to serve all truly useful purposes. The body's helpfulness is fully guaranteed because it is not limited by time, by weather, by fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made it serve before. You need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. So in a way, for me, this is like we have seen that the body is infused in a way with God and godliness and goodness, and it will just follow suit. It will just be useful for our experience here, and you'll just naturally take care of it, and you don't assign any other purpose to it. Yet this protection needs to be preserved by careful watching. If you let your mind harbor attack thoughts, yield to judgment, or make plans against uncertainties to come, you have again misplaced yourself and made a bodily identity which will attack the body, for the mind is sick. So as soon as you, I suppose, it's like as soon as you withdraw your trust from God, you move back into that space of feeling that you need to defend and of feeling that you need to take care of the body as an entity in itself, and feeling, that, there's all this protection needed. And then is your mind kind of sick again. So give instant remedy should this occur by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you anymore. Do not be confused about what must be healed, but tell yourself, I have forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. So that's a really important one. I've forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth, but I am not a body, and my mind cannot attack, so I cannot be sick. So look, a really powerful, really strong lesson, and a bit like the last one, can be difficult to get your head around. Most important that there is no judgment, that you're always recognize your innocence, and that you're recognizing that any decisions that you have made in relation to this are split second, nanosecond decisions. And so there is no place for blame or judgment, because no matter what you do or what you show up as, or how sick you get, or how much you believe that you are the body, you're still innocent. You are still love, and you always were, and you always will be. So I hope you're at peace after this. I know I've been around this lesson so many times, and it still has the capacity to disturb my peace at times. So I'd like to, share that with you. That I still am challenged sometimes to get my head around it. And because I work, so much of my work is with the body as well, in terms of yoga and all of that. But again, I can see that all those things sort of naturally fall into place, taking care of the body, when you don't obsess about the body and make it the most important thing in the world. So from my heart to yours, have a great day. And just be gentle and just allow this to sink in, and trust, that the next lessons are going to build upon this lesson, and that you're going to gain more and more understanding. Bye-bye.